Hi, Karen here, Karen Hadler from stampingbees.co.nz. Welcome back, good to see you again. It's school holidays here in New Zealand, the July school holidays, which falls in our winter, but so far we've been quite blessed with great weather, and I really do enjoy the holidays because I get to spend that extra time with my boy, who's not far off turning 13, so I'm sure there'll be not too distant future he will be not wanting to spend the time with his parents, so we will make the most of it while we can. So today I would like to share with you some colouring techniques, and over the next 2 weeks actually. So today I'll share how to use add colour with Brayers, and next week we have an exciting new product in our catalogue that I've been having a play with, and I'm sure you're going to love as much as me, so I will share that with you next week. So I hope you enjoy this this technique. It's not new, but new for me to show you, and are able to use it in your project. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please do feel free to send them through to me. Enjoy. So yes, as I said, I've been playing with colouring techniques, and I always inevitably end up with my hands absolutely covered in ink in some description. Actually, even when I'm stamping, I tend to get covered with ink. So this session, this week, I'd like to cover using the Brayers. These are fantastic tools for adding some quick colour, and so easy to clean because you can just wash them. They're just foam, very quick and easy. The colours, I'll just bring over some scrap paper actually. The colours that we'll be using today are starting off with some Pineapple Punch. You can see I've got to clean all these before I put them away. Pineapple Punch, Daffodil Delight, Mango Melody, and some Melon Mambo. And the stamp set that we'll be using is Dandelion Wishes. Just so cute. A lovely card as a sending well wishes, I think. Okay. As I say, I've been playing with some colours, different techniques, and with the brayering, I had tried this card. Just thought it was probably a little bit moody for a get well card. Still okay, but it was a little dark, probably more for a male person that you're sending a card to. And that was on watercolour paper, so that came up a lot lighter using water on the watercolour paper, so it didn't it absorbs a lot of the water and the colours a bit lighter. And this is the card that we will do today. A nice, bright, happy, sending well wishes card. So one of the things I wanted to do was to pop a panel in the front to just have a strip of colour. And the rectangle stitched framelits, unfortunately, didn't have anything quite the right length for me, so I'm just quickly going to show you what I did to make the mask to use the Brayers, and we will be able to go ahead. I'll pop that to one side, and I'm just going to pause you for a moment while I bring the big shot over. Right, so I'm sure you didn't want to see the top of my head, so I thought it was easier just to pause you to bring that over. Now this is the size that I've picked, but it's not long enough. I wanted it, the strip of colour, to be longer. So I'm going to show you how to make a mask increasing the length of this rectangle. Now I've cut out, we're just going to use scrap. This is the white piece, standard white card is 9.5 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres. This is what we're going to brayer onto. So the mask I've made just slightly bigger than that because I'll show you when we mask up, but you don't want any white showing when you are using it because you don't want to get the colour on that. Okay, so popping that down.
So just bearing in mind when you are putting this on here that when you're placing it, this is slightly bigger than the white piece, so you've got to just adjust accordingly, factoring in the fact that that is a little bit wider, so you wouldn't want it too close to the edge. I'll just pop that there and run through. Good, didn't wobble the table too much. Okay, so now we're just going to pop that cut out bit. Doing this sideways, I've managed to keep that straight. So to make it longer, you just pop it up to where you want it up the top. About there, I think. Place it down, and then you need to look, you should not be able to see the stitched area, and looking down here, the stitched area is just on the inside of the edge, there to there, which means that's straight, and I can't see any stitched area up the side. So fingers crossed that we've got it. Done it so many times and no issue, but you know, as they say, I'm having one of those days, and I'm sure that'll be the time it won't be. There we go, perfect. So I've created a mask now for the length that I'm wanting to use. And I will just pop this over and try not to get my head in the camera for you. Brilliant. So I've popped my scrap bit of paper on here, and I've got my white cardstock, which is 9 by 14 centimeters. And now I've got some pre-tape masking tape. I just use old, not masking tape, washi tape, because it's not as sticky. Now what you need to do is line this up so you know that this is nice and straight. Now really de-stick this by just wiping it on your trousers or your top, just to de-stick it quite a bit. You don't want to pull that card up off when you lift it up. So just a little bit on the end there. I'll just do this one as well. And just making sure that's nice and straight. Okay, so now we're going to put the mask on. So you know that's straight there. So if you make this straight as well, you know that the mask is going to be straight, and you have cut, there's no white showing anywhere around the sides. I'm just putting this on well, because this is really important that it doesn't move or lift up. You don't want the colour to go underneath as well. Another good tip is that for any colouring really, when you're doing things like this, is not to try and avoid putting your fingers onto the area. It can cause a bit of oil from your finger to adjust it, to alter the colour. Okay, let's start with the brayering. We will start with the lightest colour, which is the Pineapple Punch. So just open. So it's quite good when you're lifting up the colour, just to go one way on the ink pad and just to pop the colour on. Easy. Just go one way. Doesn't take long to build the colour up. Always start off from the white so that you haven't got a big blob of colour. And just keep going until you get to the depth of colour that you like. And we'll next go to Daffodil Delight, which is this one. Some beautiful yellows. keep doing the one way until you get to the depth of colour that you like. And I'll pop that to one side. I'm just leaving them open just for now because I'm going to go back and blend them in a little bit better at the end. So this is now the Mango Melody. It all sounds so delicious. This is just another shade darker. And then we will finish off with some Melon Mambo. Pink being my favourite colour, and I love this shade of pink. So bright and so happy. So I'll just put that at the top. Still just going one way. See why we need scrap paper. So that's probably quite nice, and the depth of that pink. We won't need the pink, I'll leave that there. So I'll probably use some of the Daffodil Delight, I think. No, that's the Pineapple Punch. This one here. Just to blend that in a little bit. Last thing you want is lines, really. You want it to sort of flow. So just go over it a bit. There we are. So I will cover these up now, just so they don't dry out on me. So quick and easy, these new stamp pads to open and shut. Keep that one, I'm going to use that in a moment. And melon. Now the other thing I wanted just to add a little bit of texture to the colour. It's just a little bit of water. I've got some water coming down into the brush. There we go. Excellent. There's over there. And let's keep our fingers crossed when we take this off that it has worked well. Perfect. It's the mask. Obviously you can keep that for another time without it being sort of a wet, like embossing medium or something like that. They do last a bit longer, so it's quite worthwhile to keep that. You can use that again if you wanted to do something similar. And just peel this off here. I'll keep that over there. Just pop that over to one side. Lovely. Be with that. Now the card I decided to make this time just this style. So all I've done is cut lengthways 10.5 centimetres into thick white cardstock, which is my cardstock of choice for my card base. It just gives that extra bit of weight. And then I have Mango Melody for my mat that matches in with this. Okay, so the next thing I will show you is how to use a clear window sheet for lining up your stamps. So I got this at the $2 shop. It is a clear placemat. It was very cheap at the $2 shop. Just cut it up. I rounded the corners with our little roundy thing. little roundy punch, and I've popped a C up in that corner, so I know that that is the corner that I put it back in each time. And I have marked, normally you just let this dry a little bit longer. Excuse me, had a bit of the lurgy like I think everybody has. Right, let's put my magnets on. These two kissed and broke, but they still work well. So it's really nice, strong. You know that your stamps are not, your paper is not going to move with those amazing magnets. Okay, so now I need my ink, which is here. So I've popped these in, but what you need to do with this window sheet, you pop your stamps on the window sheet, for example, and pick them up where you want them to be, where you think it's going to be okay. And then, for example, you think, okay, are the words straight? Is the dandelion in the right place? Am I happy with that there? And then I think, well, maybe I could pop that. I could pop that a little bit further that way. So I'll change that. So move that on there, pop that back, and think, oh no, I think I might like it out a little bit further. And you can just keep playing until you're happy with where everything is without ruining your project. Perfect. So I will then wipe that, and I know that everything now is where I would like it to be. And I ink up. So it's one of my favourite items for the Stamparatus, I must admit, and I use it if I'm wanting to stamp a greeting directly on to a card. And I used to ruin so many cards by making that crooked or not enough black ink went on it. This is just such a fail-proof way of making sure that you get something in exactly the right place. So I will pop that on. A bit more there. And I think I'll just try and get a little bit more black on here. As just with the ink, it doesn't always, it takes a couple of goes to get the depth of black that you want. Here we go, that's better. And everything is in the right place. Okay, we can start putting this together. Pop that to one side. Just give that a bit of a wipe. And pop that over there. So we've got the base there. I will glue that onto Mango Melody. Too much, no big blobs because they'll poke through. Just nice and smooth, not too much. Just hope I don't have any ink on my hands that's going to wipe onto the card. That's my next trick normally. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I don't normally like things just sort of floating without having a base, so I thought I'd pop a little bit of ribbon on there, just to give that like it's coming out of something. And I need my tape, which is here. So a little bit of tear and tape. pokey tool, my most used item, I must admit, so I can peel things, get the tape off. Have nails, but not good for that sort of thing at all. Now the ribbon. I've picked this gorgeous black sparkly ribbon. I think it just adds a little bit of sparkle. So I always do this to just means you don't waste too much ribbon. And that means that now looks as though that flower is coming out of somewhere rather than floating. Mind you, dandelion does float, but more just the floaty bits. I'm not quite sure what they're called. And we need some dimensionals. There. That's how I like to tie my bows. 2 rabbit's ears. The rabbit goes over the top and into the burrow or whatever that is, but I find that this way is actually neater for crafting. I don't do it this way for my shoelaces. This is one of those ribbons you have to keep adjusting to get the right. And I will pop a glue dot on there. Glue dots are brilliant for sticking ribbon down. You know that it's going to work. Just make that a little bit smaller. Oops. Probably tidy that up a bit later, but let's come off a little bit from there. Pop another one in. Doesn't want to sit flat today. Here we are, that's better. Okay, now inside I have used the Mango Melody and the stamp from the set with the 3, just going to stamp it in the corner there, and I would stamp this on the inside and I would use it on the envelope. There we go. Okay, now just the last couple of things. Some diamantes, just to match in with the glitter, etc. in the gorgeous ribbon. Just add some diamantes onto that. Always like to add a few little gems, I must admit. Gems and a bit of ribbon. Put that up there. And I should probably fiddle with that a little bit more later, but I will now just finish off with, oops, glue. It's popping a little bit in the centre there. And maybe that one and that one, I think. And then we will finish off that on top of the glue with my favourite glitter, of course. And I just pop that in the centre there, bit there, and shake it off. There we go, finished. A little bit of happiness for someone who's not feeling that well. And really quick, as you can see, to make that colour, that beautiful colour, quick and easy to whip that card up if you need a get well card in a hurry. A great way, those brayers, in just adding a good depth of colour. So if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Just get a bit of extra glitter there. To contact me, please sign up to and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I really look forward to seeing you again next time. Enjoy. Happy crafting. Cheers.